Longtime NFL writer Charean Williams is back home from a whirlwind weekend in Canton, Ohio. Charean's the first woman to receive the Dick McCann Award from the Pro Football Writers, and that means her name is now in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 17 years with the Star-Telegram, the last 2 with Pro Football Talk. Can you put into words what this meant? It must have been an amazing weekend for you.
It was an unbelievable weekend. I think surreal, Mike, is probably the best word. I'm still on kind of that high of everything that went on and trying to digest exactly what happened and how my name got in there. It's, you just don't ever expect this. This is not why we started in this business.
You got in there because you're really good at what you do. But was there one highlight in particular that stands out when you look back at the weekend? Well,
there were tons of things, but I think the one highlight that really stood out was Saturday when I went up and got my award from David Baker, the president of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I held the award up, and I got a standing ovation from the 22,000 people there, including the 140 Hall of Famers who were there, which is really neat. But then when I turned to go exit the stage, a ton of the Hall of Famers came up and high-fived me and hugged me and kissed me and shook my hand. And you expect the Emmitt Smiths and LaDainian Tomlinsons and Warren Sapps and guys you really know and covered for a really long time. But guys like Franco Harris and Brian Dawkins and those types of guys came up, and I think that was the coolest part, is they recognized how big this was for me. It's our version of the Hall of Fame.
And congratulations kept pouring in on Twitter. Commissioner Roger Goodell posted a photo, Troy Aikman and others congratulating you. You are a Texas Aggie, and the fact that your school honored you, I think, means the most. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, it really does. They took out a full-page ad in the Hall of Fame game program, and it said the 12th man stands alongside the first woman to win the Dick McCann Award. And I just thought that was really cool for my school to do that. Whenever anybody asks in the future why I went to A&M, I'm just going to pull out the picture of that ad in the program. And I understand there's another one coming out in the alumni magazine. So just really cool that A&M has 400,000 alumni, and to recognize me in that way is just really huge.
You've loved football your whole life. Grew up in Beaumont, is that right?
In Beaumont,
and at age 7, you said you told your mom you wanted to marry Roger Staubach. Is that right?
I told my teacher. So I was I told my second grade teacher. I asked her how far it was to Dallas, and she said, "Well, 300 miles, about 5 hours. Why you want to know?" And I said, because I'm going to marry Roger Staubach, thinking what a stupid question that is. And I have told Roger the story before, and he made me actually tell it to Marianne, his wife, and so really funny. But she called the local newspaper, and they came out and wrote a story about the Cowboys' youngest fan, it said. And in that story, I mentioned that my lifelong goal was to cover the Cowboys.
And you pretty much reached that. You've been covering for a long time now. Your 25th year covering the NFL. You were in Canton. Terrell Owens was not. He stayed away from his own induction, said some words at his alma mater, Tennessee Chattanooga, clearly upset with the process. You're a voter of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and have been so since 2007. Do you think T.O. had a point at all by this little stunt that he pulled? Well,
no, and I think he missed out. I think the Hall of Famers coming forward and saying, hey, you're making a huge mistake here, including Jerry Jones said that. I think he did make a huge mistake. I think his message was lost. I didn't see the whole speech. I don't know any voter that saw his entire speech. I saw snippets of his speech. And I'm not really positive the point he was trying to make based on the 1 or 2 sentences I heard. He said, I'm doing this so nobody else has to go through this. I'm not really sure what he went through. He waited 2 years. Most players have a wait, and obviously receivers always almost have a wait. I think we have 4 first ballot Hall of Famers. But I'm sure it was Randy Moss going in on the first ballot that hurt his feelings a little bit. But I think one day he will regret not being there and not getting to celebrate and tell those that he loves thank you, which he did in his own speech. But he could have made a message and had a wider audience if he had been at the Hall of Fame.
And now the Hall reportedly is considering putting a rule in place that would require potential enshrinees to guarantee that they would come to their own ceremony. Overreaction, do you think, to just one guy? Only one guy's done it in 50 years or whatever.
We have over 300 Hall of Famers, and it's been done one time. And obviously we've had some deceased guys go into the Hall of Fame, including Ken Stabler a few years ago. So yes, I think it is a bit of an overreaction. And if they choose to stay away, that should be their option, stay away. I understand why they're doing it. The Hall of Fame is expanding to this mega Hall of Fame with a water park and a hotel and everything else they're doing there. And so they need those guys to show up for financial reasons. But to make a rule for one guy, I do think is a little bit of an overreaction, because I don't know that we'll ever see this again. Guys want to show up.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we let you go, you were at Cowboys camp. I saw you out there for a while. Playoff team or not? Going to put you on the spot right now.
Well, I have the over and under at 9 wins, and I think they have to get to 10. So they're going to have to win one game in there that I don't see them winning. It's possible, but they're probably going to have to win a game that they're an underdog to and beat a team like a Philadelphia at some point to get into the playoffs. I think they've got a shot. I think they're the second best team in the division, and you never know how these things are going to play out and what's going to happen. Nobody saw Philadelphia coming last year. But they have a ways to go to, I think, to catch Philadelphia at this point.
Charean Williams, really happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for coming in here tonight. In the Hall of Fame, her name in the Hall of Fame now, winner of the prestigious Dick McCann Award for Pro Football Writers. I'm Mike Doocy, Fox 4 Sports.